Item number 7, consent calendar. All items are considered routine or implemented earlier council action and may be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless requested by a council member or staff. Any action by the
Through the chair.
Consent calendar? Rico?
Request to remove item F.
Item F. Okay, anything else? Action on the remainder?
Move to approve the remainder of the consent.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the remainder of the consent calendar. All in favor?
Aye.
Item number F is receive a report and approve process for appointment to the vacant planning commissioner position.
Well, first and foremost, I received the report last night and wanted to note that my understanding is the vice mayor is on the subcommittee, so I did want to give him the credit for sitting and doing the work along with Councilmember O'Connell for coming up with the process. I was wondering, when was the last time the subcommittee had met? And is there, A, and B, is there a different application form than the one that is currently done for all the committee commissions and boards? So I don't know if city manager knows or...
So I'm happy to answer as to the last meeting, and I apologize to Vice Mayor Salazar for getting that wrong. The subcommittee did work diligently, and you had 2 council members very well qualified to do that work. The last meeting was in March, and the subcommittee, to my recollection, did not discuss the specifics of the application. The report envisions a relatively simple application form with the one that we use for all other boards and commissions being sufficient if there is a desire on the part of the City Council to have us develop a different type of application form. We certainly are happy to do that.
Thank you. Maybe the subcommittee might, I don't know if Vice Mayor or council member has anything additional.
We're talking about the Planning Commission, right?
Correct.
But didn't we do the application that Dave worked up about the...
So the materials that the subcommittee has produced includes a detailed description of the role and responsibilities of the Planning Commission and of individual commissioners on the Planning Commission, and it includes, the subcommittee's work includes a more detailed process and submittal of additional information via the supplemental questions and exercise that would be part of the application process, but to my understanding there was no specific application form, and I believe that was your question.
Okay.
We can certainly develop an application, and we do have an application that members of the public are asked to fill out for any position on a board or commission that outlines their residency in San Bruno and their interest, a short sentence about their interest in the particular position, in this case, the Planning Commission, and a brief statement about their not only why are they interested, but what can they contribute.
Okay.
And then finally, for myself, I know September 15th is the timeline that's been set forth. I don't know if that was done at City Hall or with the subcommittee, but I know the vacancy has been there since about March. So anything we can do maybe to move it up, even a meeting. I know there was some maybe wiggle room in August or something, would be appreciated.
Action on that.
Through the chair, actually, I think I share Irene's surprise in what was presented here, because this is not what we saw in subcommittee. And I think what we reviewed in subcommittee was something that looked more like an application form, and I thought that's what we would be bringing back to the council.
So the only other thing that I'm aware, that staff is aware that you looked at, is the exercise itself, which is not included in your packet of materials tonight.
Right,
Oh,
and we thought that
okay,
would be
got it.
part of an application package.
It would be, the way the process is outlined, and it's certainly subject to your discretion, is that the first level of review would be persons who expressed interest, and then the questionnaire, the exercise that you developed, would go to people that, a smaller subset of that group. But you can do it any way you want.
Okay, I was under the impression that anyone who was applying for the planning commissioner's position would get the packet, and that if they were interested enough to fill out the packet, that was one indication that they had that commitment to the kind of higher level of processing that the planning commissioners do. So I think we would
Right.
like that to be part of the process, not just filling out the little half sheet that we do. So I guess what I'm saying, Carol, it goes back to you, is that those people that have already filled out a application that has planning commissioner as one of their choices, they would need to receive the further packet that has the other pieces to it. And then anyone who additionally applies from now on would also need to receive that. So that's what, both Michael and I were under the impression that that's how it was going to work.
Right.
So, there you are.
Since we didn't receive any of this until late last night, I didn't, until right now, I didn't really have an opportunity to look at it, but I think it would be important for everyone up here to see what it was that we came up with and what kind of questions we're asking, and get their full buy-in on what we're proposing. So, I don't know, I don't want to delay this. I know that those positions have been open for a while, and I'd like to see them get filled, but it just doesn't seem like we're presenting the full picture of what the subcommittee did and what we're proposing.
Do you want to hold off till the next meeting?
No.
Good.
We can, Dave, do you have it here? Or,
Through the chair.
We can-
I
we-
reviewed the questions, I reviewed it, and I felt that it was very appropriate, and that there would be questions that whether it's the council that's interviewing the applicants, I mean, that we can still add questions, but it gave, in my opinion, it gave the applicant a fairly good idea as to what, I guess, what to expect, and what their, I guess, their experience in wanting to apply for this position. Unlike, and not to downplay our other volunteers in the other committees and commissions, this is a little more specific, and so I believe if they answer those questions or are prepared to answer those questions, that they would feel that they're qualified. So it's a screening process.
so,
I'm fine with just moving forward with it. I think we need to fill the position.
Yeah, I think there may be a little bit of confusion. There was a specific exercise that was developed that was not included in your packet. There was the
It was in
material
two
that you...
parts.
Pardon me?
It was in two attachments, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it was a,
No, you didn't see the rest of it. It wasn't included in what we got last
there
night.
was,
The-
I saw the application.
and-
I saw the application,
There's
then.
more to it, apparently.
no,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know where you see it. Where did you see it? Well, in general, so that we can move on, in general, because the planning commission has legal things that they have to comply with, they have to do 700 forms, so they have to do financial disclosures
Conflict of
and those
interest.
kinds of things. We made it a more extensive kind of probing questions, and that's what it was added to it. So when you asked about the form, that's what I was thinking you were asking about. So, having said all those things,
So through the chair, so there is something else that we haven't seen,
Yes.
which we'll call a form for now, so we're all on the same page, that just goes in more detail.
Yes.
As far as the qualifications, you mean, not, but the requirements,
it's-
i.e. Form 700, conflict of interest, that outlines that there obviously are different protocols because at the planning commission level, what they're doing. Is that?
Yes.
This?
Yes, and it also, it asks
City
them,
of San Bruno Planning Commissioner selection information?
yes, but it also asks them to produce answers to certain questions. Um,
Oh, okay, well, that was pretty thorough.
Okay, so,
I want to go to the subcommittee because you need to, I need to be sure that what we've seen, and we're comfortable with the process, and this is going to be something that we're establishing, and that we're all on the same page. And so I'm not feeling that at this moment, so I'm looking to the subcommittee for a little bit of guidance.
Okay, the subcommittee felt great about it. How's that? And the planning commission subcommittee also we felt like we produced something that was meaningful and useful, not only to the council when we do our interviews, but the other planning commissioners and people applying for planning commission. I know we've gone through many processes where we interview people and we say, well, are you available on that day? How long have you lived in the city and why do you want to be a planning commissioner? And most of the answers we get back are because I want to get back to my city. Okay, that's a good answer, but
Yeah,
it's
but
not a very complete answer for a planning commissioner because that's a really technical, higher level kind of involvement. So that's why we developed what we developed. So I'm comfortable telling you, I think we did a fabulous job. David worked really hard on it with us. Michael and I, we spent several hours doing it. We had the subcommittee from the planning commissioners. They were very pleased with the end result. So I'm comfortable making a recommendation to go forward, and I'm sure David could shoot us all an email showing us what it looks like, and if you have objections to it, we can go from there. But
So is
other
that a
than that,
motion?
I'd like to hear if the vice mayor has anything else to add. He was on the subcommittee.
Yeah, and I agree. I was, I think the end product was a good product, but to be the devil's advocate, what I wanted to get input on was whether or not the process we created was too onerous and might seem too much like filling out a college application and scare away some applicants. So that's some of the feedback I wanted to get. I know we were really on board with what we were doing, but I think having more people look at it would have been better. Having said that, I recommend that we do move forward with this, and I think we'll have opportunities to tweak it.
Real quick.
Yeah, we'll find out real quick, and then we can definitely tweak it going forward.
Okay, with that said, from the subcommittee, and I'm the one also saying that why I brought it up in April, we need to move it along, I will go ahead and move that we approve item F under the consent calendar.
Okay.
second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?